Hello, I'm Jodie Benveniste, a psychologist and parenting author, and I help parents get to the true heart of parenting. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get your children to listen. One of our biggest frustrations as a parent can be our children not listening to us. We can ask them to do something, we can nag them, ask them 20 million times, and they just don't do it. And then we end up getting frustrated and losing it and yelling. And when we do that, we're not actually parenting at our best, and we're also not showing our children and role modelling what's good, effective communication. In this video, I'm going to share some tips about how to get your children to cooperate more, to create a better connection with your children, and to really get them to listen. As parents, we can be really good at telling our children what to do. We can be barking at them orders all day. Do this, do that, hurry up. Just like we don't like to be told what to do every moment of every day, our kids really don't like it either. And when we're telling all the time, there's a few things going on here. Kids stop listening. They just tune out. They might hear the wah, 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 but they're not really listening and taking it in. When we're telling and talking all the time, we're also not listening to our children. We're not allowing them to have a voice, and we're not hearing things from their perspective. We're also not allowing our kids to listen to themselves and to hear themselves and then to think and speak their own mind. We do really need to tell our children what they need to do from time to time, and there is a way to do it well. The first thing we need to do is really connect with our child. We need to go to them, get their attention, make eye contact, and then make a really calm and reasonable request. We can also give our children a simple explanation why we would like them to do something we've asked them to do. So an example might be that we need to be at work a little bit early that day, so that's why we need to get ready now. Can you please put your shoes on? Can you please get your bag ready? Let's go. For effective communication, listening is equally as important, if not more important, than telling. Our children have their own desires and priorities, and they might be different to our desires and priorities, which means they don't want to leave what they're doing right now and come with us. When we listen, we really allow ourselves to understand what's happening from their perspective. It helps us to understand the situation better, and it also helps us to come up with what is a more reasonable request, because we really do have a better understanding of the whole situation, not just our agenda. The other thing that really helps with listening is, instead of just telling all the time, it really helps if we ask our children questions. When we ask our children questions, it helps them to cooperate, and it also increases our understanding of what's really going on. We might storm into the room and start barking orders, and instead of doing that and not really understanding what's going on, we can ask our children, what happened? How do you feel? What do you think is a solution to this problem? When we ask our kids questions like that, we involve them in the problem solving and with coming up with a solution so that they manage themselves and their behaviour better. It also helps to give our children choices, but when you give your children choices, you have to make sure that they are actually real choices. So if you want your child to eat vegetables with their dinner, you don't ask, do you want vegetables with your dinner? You say, which 2 vegetables would you like to have tonight? If you want your child to go outside and play, you don't say, do you want to go for a bike ride? Instead you say, should we go for a bike ride or a walk, or should we go down to the playground? You can also give your children choice around screen time. So you can say, right, okay, you've got an hour of screen time. Do you want to watch some TV, or do you want to get on the iPad and play some games, or do you want to play the Xbox? When we give our children choices, it helps them to self-reflect and develop their own sense of self-understanding. We all have a family culture at home. Our family culture is all about, this is how things are done around here. Our rituals and routines really make up part of our family culture. And when we have rituals and routines, we don't have to do as much telling. If our children know what the morning routine is or what they need to do before bed, they can just go ahead and do it without us having to tell them. Family rules work well when they're based on your family values. And they are something that you can develop together with your children. You can decide on what your family values are and what the rules are at your house, and also what consequences might happen if people don't stick to the rules. If as a family you value respect, then you have the family rule of no hitting or yelling in our house. If you value communication, that's when everyone gets a say in your house, everyone has a voice. If you value responsibility, that's when there are family rules about everyone helping out, everyone doing chores, everyone taking on their own responsibilities. Family meetings are also a really good way to instill your family values and also to talk about your family rules. You could meet once a week over dinner and have a chat about what went really well that week, what needs to improve, and also what you're looking forward to. Family meetings also give you time to come together and connect and to celebrate all the good things that are happening in your family. It can be so frustrating when we feel like our kids aren't listening to us. The more you develop your relationship with your child, the more likely they are to listen to you. It's about developing that strong relationship and connection with them so they want to cooperate. When you ask your children questions, when you give them options, when you see life from their perspective and really listen to what's going on for them, it really helps your kids to have more agency and want to be a part of family life. It also helps children to think for themselves, so they're not just relying on us all the time to tell them what to do. When we have family rituals, when we have family rules that are based on our values, and also family meetings, which are regular check-in times, we're really creating that family culture where kids understand what's expected of them. This is what we do in our family, and you don't need to tell them all the time what to do.